Hello, Colleen Patrick-Goudreau here, Joyful Vegan. I need to make some seitan because David and I are going to make our veg fried rice for dinner tonight. We've already got rice made. We've already got, what else do we have? We already have the vegetables we need for it, and I love the seitan for the chickeny kind of, excuse me. She's not supposed to be here. He's not supposed to. That's how you discipline a cat. It's not how you discipline a cat. He is never going to learn. And he's 11 years old and he still hasn't. Get your butt. He wants to be up here with me because he's Charlie. Stop it. Stop it. Anyway, I thought I would just show you how to make the seitan. Obviously, if you want to join me for any of my cooking classes, you can go to joyfulvegan.com. We have a homemade miso class coming up. I also have on-demand classes for Better Than Chicken. I have Better Than Chicken nuggets. I have the seitan. I have homemade everything. So go to joyfulvegan.com for the classes that have already passed, that were live, that are now on-demand classes. And then there are upcoming classes, live classes as well. So I thought if you're interested, I will show you how to make seitan. I call it Better Than Chicken. And I'm going to show you a couple different variations. So I need this for dinner tonight, so I thought I would just do it with you. If you have any questions, I can see you in the chat there. Just let me know. If this is after the live video, obviously, still ask your questions. I can see them later on. So let me know you're here. I just want to make sure. And we'll get started. So I'm just gonna keep moving along and I'll see if you have any questions while I do this, but I'm gonna show you the counter because you don't need to see my face, you need to see the counter. What I have here is a bowl and I have my gluten. So I get my Vital Wheat gluten in bulk, which I'm very, very, very happy about and lucky. I'm gonna make a double batch of this, so I'm gonna use 2 cups. This makes a ton. This will make a ton. This will make definitely enough for me to use for dinner tonight, and also like lots extra that I'll put in the fridge. And I'll show you how to store it. One thing I want to say about when you're working with gluten, whether you're working with it in the bowl, and I'll show you what I mean when we get there, but it's very sticky. That's the point. I just had some okara and now it's like in my throat. So it's very sticky, and so you want to kind of get this off right away. Just rinse it right away. I'm just going to rinse it, throw it on the dish rack. Right, so just kind of get it rinsed. But if you let water sit in it, it's just going to get really gooey and gummy, which is what you want. It's what you want when you're making the seitan. You want it to be like, you know, really stretchy and glutinous. That's what gluten is. But when you are working with it and you don't want your bowls and your spoons to get completely coated with it, just wash it right away. Don't let it sit in water. So back to the seitan. Now, so this is the Vital Wheat gluten I have in the bowl, and now I need my liquid. So I've got some vegetable stock here. These are both veggie stocks. You can see I will make vegetable stock or soy milk or whatever it is, and I use my old whiskey bottles. And they're beautiful. And I also use just jars. And so I can put my vegetable stock either in the freezer and thaw it before I use it for this, or I just put the new stock that I made in the fridge. Now I already have a pot going here of stock that I need for the the simmering of the gluten, the seitan, to actually make it's the broth that it'll simmer in. So I already have that there, but I also need some for the dough itself. So I'm gonna let this just come to a simmer, and I'll come back to that and I'll show you what to do. But basically, you just need some vegetable stock. You can use, you know, a bouillon cube or bouillon paste that you just combine with some water. And this is 2 cups of gluten, so I would use about a cup. Oh my God. I would use about a cup of stock or broth, and you can use like Better Than Chicken broths if you want kind of more of the flavors that you would associate with, you know, chicken. You could use a mushroom broth, so to have a little bit more umami. You can use just a vegetable broth. You can use a vegetable stock, homemade, store-bought, what have you. I obviously make homemade, and if you want to see how to do that, just go check out some different videos. If you follow me on Instagram, you see my stories and you see my IGTVs. If you follow me on Facebook, a lot of the IGTV videos I do and a lot of the reels I do don't make their way over to Facebook, and I'd have to manually do it, which I can do. It's just I forget. And I would really encourage you to go over and follow me on Instagram if you're not already. That's where I do a lot of these videos, these instructional videos. So in addition to my Vital Wheat gluten, I want to add some flavor. So I'm going to add some garlic powder. You can certainly use fresh garlic, absolutely 100%. You can add onion powder. I want this is like 2 batch, like I'm doubling this. So I want there to be a lot of garlic in there. I want it to be a really garlicky flavor. And don't forget, when I make this seitan, it's going to take on the flavor of whatever the stock is. I was implying that earlier when I said you could use the mushroom broth, the mushroom stock. I'm going to put some nutritional yeast in as well. So I just tend to do the dry ingredients first, especially because with Vital Wheat gluten, the second you start adding the liquid, it's going to start seizing up right away. And that's great because it means it's working. You're going to get your chewy seitan. The thing is, it just makes it harder to incorporate any other ingredients once it's already seized up and become the seitan. So do your dry ingredients first and kind of get a pretty good sense of how much liquid you want to add relative to the dry. And then you can add more later. It's just harder to incorporate. So kind of get your ratios right to start with, and you'll go from there. So it's okay, Susie. Hi, no worries. So it's 2 cups of gluten. If you were doing just a regular batch, you can just do 1 cup. Like, it makes so much. So I mean, I keep mine and I use this all the time. Because this expands when it simmers, it makes a lot, and it's wonderful. It's like little aliens, but better than that. It's probably not the best analogy. So I'm just doubling this, and I'm doing 2 cups of the Vital Wheat gluten, and I'm using about 1 cup of the stock. Now you'll see how that ratio goes, because I'm going to do this live, and you'll see how it goes. But that's typically what I do. The other liquid I'm using besides the vegetable stock is tamari. And tamari is going to add that really nice salty flavor. It's also going to add more liquid, so I just account for that when I'm mixing this together. So this is tamari. You can use soy sauce, you can use Bragg's aminos, you can use like coconut aminos, whatever you want. This is my tamari I get from Re-Up Refills. They deliver this to my door in this gorgeous glass jar, and when I am done with this tamari, I will put it back out. They will come pick it up and give me more, so it's pretty cool. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, Re-Up Refills, they're also opening a store on College Avenue, which is super awesome. So there's another thing I want to show you that I do with the gluten, and it's a wonderful way to use leftover pulp. If you make your own soy milk, frankly, if you make your own almond milk as well, if you make your own tofu, and if you want to learn how to do that, you could go to joyfulvegan.com and get the video where I show you. It's a whole class on making your own tofu. As I said, the live miso class is coming up, so go to joyfulvegan.com and register for that class. This is okara. This is the name given to pulp left over from making soy milk. And I have it in the fridge. Now I'm gonna make some other things because I've got some more in the fridge because I made a couple batches of soy milk this week. One I used for tofu and one I just used for milk. And I've got a bunch more. I'm gonna make like a crabless crab cake. So do not waste your pulp, whether it's from almond milk or soy milk or cashew milk or oat, whatever it is, just keep your pulp. Even if you're juicing, you may be interested in seeing those videos I've been showing you on the burgers I've been making from the juice pulp, so you do not have to waste any of this. So when I add some of this okara to my batter, to my dough, it's going to add a little bit more of a tenderness to my seitan. So it's a fun way to just add some tenderness to make it more tender. Tenderness is the word. And because the seitan, what's so good about it is that it's chewy. That's what's so great about it. But if you wanted a little bit like balance with some softness and some just some tenderness, that is the word, then use something like you can use like mashed chickpeas. You can use something like okara. So basically what I've got again is just the Vital Wheat gluten and nutritional yeast and some garlic powder. You can put onion powder in as well. I will taste my little seitan balls before I actually simmer them because I can do that and just kind of, I'll show you what I do. So it's gonna be time now to add the liquid. I'm gonna just add some of my okara. I'm gonna add like 1/4 cup. You know, I don't want to add too much because it does get a little too soft if I add too much of the okara relative to the Vital Wheat gluten. So now I'm going to add, let's see, I'll measure this just to keep this, so what did I say? I said about 1 cup. So let's do about 1 cup. And then I'm going to also add my tamari. So before you start mixing this, kind of just add everything, a couple tablespoons. couple tablespoons of the tamari. Now I could use my hands and I will eventually, but first I want to just get this going. Now you're going to see this starts to stick to the side of the bowl. This is what I was saying before. It starts to stick to the side of the bowl. Now I can tell kind of pretty quickly that I'm going to need a little more liquid. So you can see that, I can see already that it's not going to be enough. So I'm going to add a little more liquid. And now you can see I've got enough to kind of keep scraping along the side of the bowl. Get everything that's there along the side of the bowl, because it's kind of a pain to clean after it's said and done. So this is perfect. I actually really like this texture. So what was that, about maybe 1.25 cups to 2 cups of the Vital Wheat gluten. So that should be a good guide. Now you can see how it's sticking to my spoon there. That is kind of a pain, and this makes it really hard to clean once this starts setting. So I'm just going to kind of take this wet gluten and just get my spoon as clean as possible before I put it in the sink. And now I'm just going to use my hands and just knead a little bit. And if I need to add any more of anything, I can do that. If I need to add a little more tamari, if I want it, frankly, at this point, I can add even more herbs or spices. I can add some more broth if I need to. I can even add some more of the Vital Wheat gluten. So you can see it's already starting to hold together. If I want to add more, if it's too liquidy and it needs more of the Vital Wheat gluten, you can just add this now. It's fine. But just really use your hands to incorporate everything, because it's starting to already form kind of its own, it's starting to form, and it's going to be harder to knead that in. I can tell the texture of the okara. I can feel the okara. It's a little grainier. Obviously, the Vital Wheat gluten gets completely incorporated in with the liquid. So the graininess I feel is the okara, which is fine. It's good. It's a fun way to use the okara, and it adds a little more, it makes it a little more tender, like I said. Now, if I want to taste this to see if I want to add any more flavor, I just taste it, and then I'll just, discard it. That's good. I might want a little bit more tamari. So a little bit more tamari. Now, don't forget, whatever stock you have, whatever broth you're going to put these in, it's going to take on that flavor, because this is going to simmer for about 45 minutes. And it's going to take on the flavor of the stock. The stock is just the homemade stock I had, but I'm going to add some tamari to the stock that's in the pot as well, because I want there to just be a little bit more salt. So I'm considering that when I add a little bit more tamari right now. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. I can see you there. And again, if this is past when you see this, when it's not live anymore, certainly ask me your comment, ask your questions, and I can answer later. So I'm just going to put a little bit more in. And make sure you share this video. People are asking me this all the time. And these are the kinds of things we do in my cooking classes. This is kind of a little preview of how the classes are taught. We have a lot of fun, awesome people in the classes. You can ask questions throughout. Okay, so you can see that the tamari will stay in one spot unless I really need that. So you don't have to knead it that much. I'm just really incorporating the tamari and everything, and that's it. Like with any kind of gluten, right? This is pure gluten. It will get just firmer and more gluten-y the more you knead. So basically at this point, I just want some balls, and I'm just going to kind of break this apart. Sometimes this might be tougher if you don't use something like the okara. And just to be clear, the okara is not necessary. You don't have to have some kind of pulp incorporated. You can see already this is it's stretchy, but it's still breaking. And part of the reason it's breaking a bit more than usual is because of the okara. But what I'm trying to get at is you don't have to use the okara. You don't have to use any kind of pulp at all. So the recipe without the okara would just be the Vital Wheat gluten, garlic powder, onion powder, nutritional yeast, whatever you want, the vegetable stock, and the tamari. That's it. So if you don't have okara, you don't need it. It's just my way of adding it and making use of it. It's just raw gluten, Mary Catherine. I don't want to eat raw gluten. I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible, but it's raw gluten. So I don't want to eat it. If that's what you're talking about, it was literally just this much of it. So yeah, I just don't want to eat raw gluten. But here we go. So I have my stock that is starting to come to a simmer. I'm going to add a little bit of tamari to this. Let me move my my pepper so you can see. And actually, fresh ground pepper, so good in that as well. I can even add some to the stock. And I'm also going to taste the stock to see if I want to add anything else. I mean, you can add fresh herbs to this. You can add whatever you like. I could have added fresh herbs or dried herbs to the gluten, to the batter. Let's just give this a little try. I just want to see if it needs anything. It's a homemade stock, and I was pretty happy with it when it came out of the pressure cooker. It's great. It's great. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't need anything, and I don't want it too salty. So basically, at this point, I just take my balls, and you can make them as large or small as you want. And they will expand twice their size, if not 3 times their size, when they're simmering. I just burned my tongue. Why did I do that? Why? Never fails. Never fails. So I'm just going to make kind of smaller balls, and you can make bigger balls. The main thing is that, if they're uniform, at least they're all going to be done at the same time. And I'm going to let this simmer. Now, by the time I finish this video, it's not going to be done, but I can show you a follow-up video later. And or if we're still chatting when this is starting to simmer and it starts to expand, I will show you what it looks like. But my bowl is now pretty clean, which I really like. The worst thing is when there's like a lot of the dough sitting around the sides. David, my husband, always complains when I don't clean the bowl well enough when I'm making the seitan, because it can be really a pain to clean. And yes, I just implied that he is the one who does the dishes, and he is. So I'm covering the pot. I always leave a little bit of the pot a little bit exposed. I don't like to cover it really super tight, because if it's, simmers and I walk away, then it's going to just go all over the place. I don't want that to happen. Do you have any questions? I can also talk about the stock. What else was I going to talk about? Something else I was going to talk about. Oh, I can show you my beet, my pulp, and we had some last night for dinner. We had our beet burgers again. My floor is a little wet here, so just going to dry it. Anyway, do you have any questions about anything related to homemade whatever? We were just at the farmer's market. I just did a podcast episode, by the way, called How to Help Bees Without Eating Honey, because there's a real misconception that bees are in trouble and therefore we need to help honeybees. Honeybees are not in trouble, not like wild bees are. Honeybees are actually crowding out wild bees. So the solution to helping bees is not to eat honey or keep bees, it's to plant flowers. So I talk all about that and the benefits of going to a local market if you can, getting your produce from local farmers and farm stands. And I was talking all about our farmers markets. So we went this morning and we're able to walk from our house, which I'm very grateful for. It's our favorite farmers market. And the problem is if we walk there, we cannot walk back because we are overloaded with produce. We'd probably need to get one of those little carts. It would be a 1.5 mile walk, almost a 2 mile walk with pulling a cart behind, which I don't mind, but I would hate the sound the whole way. I think the sound would really bother me. The noise of the wheels running over the sidewalk for 2 miles. I think that would annoy me. I don't know. Maybe I'll put my headphones in. But we usually then either in the past we've taken an Uber back, or in this case we drove and David had an appointment. So I walked back. We put all of the produce in the back of our rental because our new Tesla is still in the shop because we were involved in a hit and run. Someone hit us and took off. And our car has had now $12,000 worth of damage, and we had the car for all of 7 days. So that was really disappointing. So we have our rental, and luckily our insurance covered all of this. And we drove our rental down, and like I said, he went to his appointment and I came back. So I have a ton of gorgeous produce, but I can't show you because it's in the back of the car. And as soon as it comes up, I will put it all away. And so I got a bunch of beets because I love beets in my juice, and I love making beet burgers with the pulp. So I make the burgers with beets. It's with my favorite juice is beets, carrots, ginger, and an apple. And that is perfect to make basically a burger with that. I also add some smashed beans. You can use white beans. I use kidney beans just because that's what we had cooked already in the fridge. And I'll show you my beet burgers if you want to. I'll show you the batter. What is it? The burger batter? I don't know what it is. So Susie asked, how much nutritional yeast went in that batch? Probably about 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons. So again, if you just think about making a single batch, it would be just 1 cup of the vital wheat gluten, 1 tablespoon of the nutritional yeast, I don't know, 1 teaspoon of the garlic powder. That's really about personal preference. 1 tablespoon probably of tamari, and then half a cup of the stock. So I doubled everything and did 2 cups of the vital wheat gluten, 2 tablespoons of the tamari, I don't know, 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon of the garlic powder. And then in the end, I wound up using about 1.25 cups of the stock. And so again, don't forget, there's stock in here, there's stock in my pot, and there's also stock that I needed for the batter itself, for the dough itself. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you do use a stock that is store-bought, or maybe it's a paste or a bouillon, you basically incorporate that with water and then put that on the stove to heat up, and you stir it, and you've got your stock. I encourage you to make homemade stock with all of your vegetable scraps. I'm assuming you eat lots of vegetables like I do, and you have lots of scraps you can use for stock. And of course someone's calling me. My husband's calling me, probably to tell me that he needs my help carrying up the... Hello? Hi. Only if you want more bread for burgers tonight. He's asking if he needs to pick up anything from that. So only if you want some bread, if you want to get a ciabatta, and if not, we're not doing burgers, but if you want them for lunch, I was going to do the veg fried rice tonight for dinner. That's why I'm making the seitan, and I'm demonstrating that on the Facebook Live right now. It's okay. But if you want to get some bread, if you want some lunch, we can. I can just, make the burgers for lunch if you want. But nothing. There's nothing urgent. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Bye. There we go. So, excuse me. Okay. So, right. So, basically, that's what you're looking to do. I know, Susie. It's just so horrible. Yeah. It was just a whole drama. It was a drama. It was a drama because we were doing our garage. We were trying to time redoing our garage and our driveway at the same time we got our Tesla. So because we were doing the garage and the driveway, we had to keep moving our car out of the garage, and we were using our neighbor's driveway across the street. So like every morning we would go and move it, and every evening we would move it back. And so I had gone out to the nursery to get some flowers, and I came back, and I couldn't pull in the garage, and instead of pulling in our neighbor's driveway, I decided to just unload in front of our house because I didn't want to cross the street I had like flats of flowers. So I decided to park for 1 minute in front of our house, and it was in that minute while I was unloading that a car came by and hit the car while I was standing there and continued to drive away. And I didn't get their license plate or anything. And there are cameras on the Tesla. I mean, I think a lot of cars have this now. There are cameras that we had turned off because it uses up the battery when you use the cameras. And so I had turned off we had both decided, like, when we're at home, we don't need the cameras. Well, that's stupid because of course your car could be stolen in front of your house, obviously. And so we didn't have the cameras on. If we had had the cameras on, we would have gotten their license plate and been able to have them pay for the deductible to get the car fixed. And it was just such a disappointment because we had the car for all of 7 days. And, you don't want your brand new car to have to go into a body shop and get fixed. But, the body shop is very reputable, and they have assured us that it's going to be as good as new, if not better. And we just got notice that it's coming in 2 weeks. It's just a shame because we have a road trip going up to Mendocino in a couple weeks, and we were next weekend, and we were, planning on taking our Tesla and never having to buy gas again. So we were just going to take our rental. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're very grateful to have insurance. We're very grateful to have a Tesla. We're very grateful to have a car. So, and we're very grateful to be redoing our garage. It's just, it was obviously stressful and unfortunate and, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Mean, drive away. Don't drive away. Don't drive away. Hi, Mary Catherine asked, can you talk about trying to get enough protein as a vegan? Yeah, the first thing I would say to that is remember the diseases that we're dying from in the United States and in the West are not diseases of deficiency. They're diseases of excess. So all of the diseases we can point to, like heart disease, like stroke, like cancer, like and that we're sick from, diabetes, etc., are all diseases of excess. These are called diseases of civilization, not by me, a vegan. They're literally called diseases of civilization because the more affluence a country or a culture has, the more they consume animal products, the more they get these diseases attributed that are affiliated with and associated with these animal products. So don't worry about protein. You don't know anybody who has kwashiorkor. You don't have any hospital wards that have kwashiorkor wards. You don't know any kwashiorkor specialists, but you do know heart disease specialists. You do know cardiologists. You know cancer specialists. You know diabetes specialists. These are the people you know because these are the diseases people are dying from. And we should not be dying from these diseases. We shouldn't be on medications for these diseases. Yeah, genetic plays a role, but that much. And if you're not actually participating in the behaviors that actually trigger those genetics, then you don't, like, if I had the gene to be alcoholic but I didn't drink alcohol, I'm not going to be alcoholic. So if you're predisposed to heart disease and you don't actually participate in the behaviors that trigger that heart disease, like smoking, like eating high amounts of meat, dairy, and eggs, high amount is just like a typical amount, then you don't have to worry about it. So we don't have diseases of deficiency. We don't have protein deficiency in the West and in developed countries. We just don't. So in terms of protein, don't worry about it. However, of course, there is protein in plant foods. Protein is made up of amino acids, and there are amino acids in all foods, including all plant foods. There's just a different combination of the different amino acids in the different plant foods. So when you're eating a variety of foods, you're eating the variety of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and beans and grains and herbs and spices, you're getting all of the nutrients you need. You're getting the protein. You're getting all the good stuff too. You're getting all the antioxidants, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals, the fiber, but you're not getting the bad stuff. You're getting the protein, you're getting all the good stuff, but you're not getting the bad stuff. So don't worry so much about it. If you want to calculate, what your intake is of the different foods you're eating, then go ahead and do that, and you'll see the percentage of protein you're getting. Because again, the problem is that people are getting too much of these things. They're getting too much protein. The problem is not that they're not getting enough. So don't worry about it, and I would encourage you to just calculate it yourself so you can see. I hope that helps a little bit, but I just wanted to give you a foundation from which to think about it, as opposed to thinking like there's something specific that vegans have to worry about when it comes to protein. I would actually say I would really want everybody to make sure they're getting the antioxidants and the fiber and the folate and the things they're not getting because they're not eating enough plant foods. That's what we really should be concerned about. So I hope that helps a little bit. Grow Marie, am I saying your name correctly? Or Marriage? Is it possible to use regular flour to make seitan? Have you tried it, or would the result be very different? You can't. Yeah, you'll be making bread. So don't forget, gluten is the protein. So there you go, Mary. Gluten is the protein in flour, in wheat-based flour. So that's why when you over-knead and you knead a lot, all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, all that gluten in there starts activating and becoming that wonderful dough, and that's what gives us that wonderful stretch in bread. That's what develops the bread. So that's the gluten. So if you just added water and broth or whatever to all-purpose flour or whole wheat flour, you're going to make bread, right? Because there's other components in that flour besides just the gluten. There's also carbohydrates, etc. When you use vital wheat gluten, you're using the extracted gluten, so you're only getting the gluten. So that's why you get seitan, is because it's just the gluten versus if you use all-purpose flour, or again, any kind of whole flour, any whole wheat flour, all-purpose flour, whatever kind of flour that's made with wheat, you're going to make bread. But if you just extract it, get the vital wheat gluten, add your broth and your liquid, you make seitan. Does that make sense? Carlos said, I was just telling my son we were having beet burgers for dinner. I have a couple of your recipe books and planning on getting the others eventually. Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, I do have a beet burgers, I have my books right here. I think in Color Me Vegan, which of course we don't have here, everything else. No, I think think the beet burgers are in Color Me Vegan. And it would be in the red section because, you know, don't forget, Color Me Vegan is broken up by color. There's also a multicolor section, so it could be in there, but I could have sworn the beet burgers were in the red section. Yeah, I think they are. There's a picture right there. Although I don't think that picture really accurately depicts it. I wasn't very happy with the photos in Color Me Vegan. I was actually quite disappointed. This is actually pretty. This is the 6 shades of red soup. I think that's actually really pretty. And that has beets in it. It's like a, what do you call it? Borscht. Anyway, so here's the beet burgers. There is a beet burgers in Color Me Vegan. I don't think that photo is a great depiction of it. But this is a little different. But yeah, you could use, this is actually lovely. Absolutely, you can use that. Let me show you my beet burger batter, and I'll take it out anyway because we're gonna need it for lunch. Anyway, thanks Carlos, really appreciate it. Hi everybody, any questions you have, just let me know. And are you simmering the seitan with the lid on the pot on low? I am, Susie. So right now, I gotta show you this. This is super fun. Okay, let me put this towel down so you can already see it. You can already see the seitan completely fluffing up. I'm gonna turn this heat off for just a second and you can see this. Are you ready? Look at that. So you can see it already completely fluffing up. You saw what those little balls looked like before I put it in. Now you can see how fluffy they are. So yes, you can see them in the broth. Isn't that super fun? So don't test these yet. They're gonna be way too hot. But I do have the lid kind of like this. Let me show you on this side. I kind of have the lid like this on simmer. I just tend to do that because I can forget that it's simmering and I don't want it to boil over. Isn't that super fun? I'm glad you got to see that. Now, even though technically they have bulked up and they've doubled, they're not ready yet. They need to simmer for another half hour at least. I mean, when did I put that in? 5 minutes ago. So I would give this another at least half hour, if not 40 minutes, and then I'll come and check. Now, what I'm looking for is a chew. I mean, I'm looking for, not a sneeze. I'm looking for a chew. I want there to be bite. I want it to be chewier, and it gets chewier the longer it simmers. Now, you don't want to overboil this. You don't want to just boil it like on a high boil. You want to simmer it because if you boil it, it could just get too chewy. So I'm gonna let it simmer for another 30, 40 minutes, and then I'll be done. And here's a trick too. Here's a tip. It also gets chewier when it cools. So if you take it out when it's done here and it's finished simmering, it's ready to be used for whatever you want to use it for. It's a little easier to deal with when it's cooled because if you're cutting it up and slicing it or what have you, it's a little easier to deal with when it's cooled. But sure, let's say you cool it and you want to use it for a stir fry right away. Let's say you just want to chop it up and you want to use it as a chicken salad. You don't have to do anything more to it. Just take this out. You're going to probably want to squeeze out some of the stock because they're really like sponges. They're like wet, right? Because they've absorbed all of the stock, which is great for some things. But if I want it to be a little firmer, I want to squeeze out some of that water, which is why it's easier to deal with when it's cool. And then I can slice all that seitan up. I would, again, wait for it to be cool, add your mayonnaise, add your veggies, whatever you want to make a chicken salad. If you want to then go further and like stir fry it even more to get some crisp on it, you can do that. If you want to add a batter and then make like chicken nuggets, you can do that. So the point is it's ready to eat once it's simmered for 30 to 40 minutes. Let's just say 45 minutes. That's kind of my go-to time. But you can keep doing other things to it. And if you do want the chicken nuggets and the other things that I mentioned, I do have those classes. So they're super fun classes. And like I said, you get the recipes and the instructions, and you get me doing the video and answering questions. And I try to cover everything, even if someone hasn't asked them. I usually anticipate the questions. So I hope that helps. It breathes. It does definitely looks like that. Yeah, I know. It was funny when I said it too. It was very funny. Good. Well, I'm really glad you got to see this, and I'm really glad you got to see it already puff up. It's like, I'm so glad, and that's how fast it is. But if I tried to cut into this right now, it's just going to be too soft. I want it to have bite. It's just not ready. It is just definitely not ready. But what I usually do, oh my God, you can see how big this is. I usually do this. I'll kind of like put it on the pot, and then I can, I'll just cut it up and I'll taste it. Now, I'm not going to do this right now. I always burn myself when I test it. I always burn myself. I always burn my tongue. So, you can see that. Too hot. Yeah. The flavor is really good though. I really like the flavor. I really like the flavor. And the okara, like I said, adds some tenderness to it. And that's going to be super perfect. Now when I'm done, so since I told you tonight I'm using it for my vegetable fried rice, I actually saute this. This will be cooled. You know, you can let it sit in the broth once it's cold. You can let it sit like even overnight if you just kind of finish this at night and you're like, I don't feel like putting it away now. You can leave the lid on and it's fine overnight. If you want to store it, just keep it all in the broth, keep it all in that beautiful broth and put it in a container, Tupperware, glass container, what have you, put it in the fridge. Again, I always wait for those things to cool, especially before putting heat in like plastic. I just like, waiting for it to cool. The point is, once I'm ready to use this, once it's cooled or not, I'll slice it up, I'll fry it up, and then I'll add that to the rest of my ingredients for the vegetable stir fry. And if you're also interested in the Chinese cooking class, we did a Chinese cooking class, there's the vegetable stir fry recipe, which uses the seitan as well. You can use tofu or whatever. How much broth did I start with in the simmering pot? That's a really good question. So I used the equivalent of that whiskey bottle. This is probably like, I don't know, would you say this is about 3 cups probably? And then, so I think I did about 6, I would say about 6 cups. It will, evaporate as you're cooking. So I would add more than you need. Now don't worry if as it's cooking, you're like, oh God, it's losing a lot of broth. It's fine. It's just soaking into the seitan. That's the point. But I do, if you err on the side of more, it's fine. You can use that broth for other things, to be honest, or you can just discard it. But yeah, so like about 6 cups. And again, because I doubled. Mikey, why do I always forget Mikey? Michigan, no, sorry, it was Michigander, that's what it was, Michi. I missed the beginning. Are you making like a stock supply of seitan to use when wanted? How long will it keep? Totally, this is not, this will last for like a couple days. So I doubled, doubling is just 2 cups of the Vital Wheat gluten. When I make a typical batch, it would just be like 1 cup of the Vital Wheat gluten, but I wanted to make 2. So it'll last in the fridge for a good week. A good week for sure, period. I haven't frozen it. I'd like to do that and let you know how that goes. I haven't done it. I think it's going to change the texture, especially if I use the okara. So I just usually make a double batch and that's enough for a week, for a bunch of different, lunches, dinners, what have you. It's so inexpensive. You can flavor this, and this is different than my sausages. I also have sausage that I make with brown lentils and the Vital Wheat gluten. I'm really just telling you that I do have classes for that as well at Joyful Vegan. So if you want to join me in my live classes, they're super fun. This is what it looks like. It's a little nicer setup and we've got, 2 cameras and I can see your comments and all of that. They're super fun, but you can get the on-demand classes. So if you want to go get the seitan recipe or the better than chicken, I think that's in the air fryer, the chicken nuggets, or the vegetable fried rice in the Chinese class, or the what else? What were we just talking about? The sausages, that's in one of the homemade classes as well. So I do the classes. I'm now doing them like once a month. It's really slowed down. I think people are just tired of being online, but you're not right now. It's only an hour-long class, and the miso class is coming up. So if you want to learn how to make homemade miso, join that class. But yeah, try to answer all of your questions. You're welcome, Susie. Thanks, everybody. Well, thanks so much. Make sure you're following me here on Facebook or Instagram. Make sure you share this video. Once this is finished live, it will stay up on Facebook. You can share it. You can spread the word. You can show people how easy it is. And if you want any invitations to Clubhouse, I'm running these rooms all the time during the week and the weekend, talking all about food and nutrition and compassion and sustainability and zero waste and animals and advocacy and communication and everything. So if you want an invitation to Clubhouse, it's now open to Android users. Just ping me here, DM me, either on Instagram or on Facebook, and I'll send you an invitation so I can see you over on Clubhouse as well. How long will it stay fresh in the fridge? Yeah, it'll stay fresh for a week, and just leave it in the broth and keep it covered. So I hope that helps everybody. Thanks for watching my demonstration of seitan, better than chicken. Nobody was harmed in the making of the seitan. No chickens, no people. It's good for everybody. It's a win-win-win. So I hope you try it at home. I want to know. You're very welcome, Mary Catherine. And if you do make this, I want to see your pictures. I want to get your questions. I'm happy to help. Okay? Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'm going to go make some lunch. Oh, I didn't show you my beef burgers. Do you want to see? Oh, they're really super pretty. Okay, I'm sorry, I do sing a lot when I'm excited. So here is the batter I made last night. This is from beets, and you can see some red onions in there. And I actually had some frozen parsley I popped in there. You can see, what else? Carrots and beets. And this will hold together. So I will basically make little patties out of this and then fry it up. So already delicious just like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh, and the ginger, so good. So good. All right, use your stems, your leaves, your pulp. There's some chipotle powder in there. So good. So good. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. For the animals, this is Colleen Patrick-Goudreau. Thanks for watching, everybody.